Hey gardeners, Amy here with Garden Up. Today I want to talk about a few things, but mainly how to make a little soil go a long way. So I want to plant some showy milkweed in these pots. And the reason I want to put my showy milkweed in pots is because it tends to spread by creeping rhizome, which means it would not be good in a formal garden in the dirt. So, because it'll get everywhere, it'll get into other plants and it just spreads like a weed. We don't want that, or at least I don't want that. Some gardens it's perfect. Whatever, to each their own. I want to put my showy milkweed in a pot. And this is a very big pot. I do probably have enough soil to fill these, but the showy milkweed isn't going to need 2 feet deep for its roots. It's mostly up in the first, 6 to 8 inches. So I don't want to use soil from top to bottom because soil's expensive. How do I make that soil go a little farther? So I'm going to implement a few techniques from a strategy called Hügelkultur. And Hügelkultur is kind of a specific offshoot of permaculture. It was created by a guy named Sepp Holzer, who gardens on the mountains in Austria. And it's fascinating. If you ever want to dive in deep on some really cool gardening strategies, look that guy up. He is excellent. He's got at least 3 books out there. He can teach you how to grow just astronomical amounts of food in a very small space or difficult gardening situations. It's absolutely phenomenal. Good stuff. But so I'm going to use his techniques to make my soil go a little farther in these pots. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that my pots have drainage. And I can tell that this one doesn't because there's still water sloshing around in here. So I have my drill and I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom. That way I ensure that the water won't just sit in the pot and rot anything that I try to plant. Then the second thing I'm going to do is fill with other kinds of organic material. And organic material can be pretty much anything from other plants. So it can be compost straight out of your bin. It can be literal chunks of wood, which is what I'm using here today. It just has to be cut to a shape that fits. The one thing that I do not recommend using to fill up a pot or a hugel bed with is pine needles and pine cones. And I don't have any scientific evidence for this, it's purely anecdotal. But the one time I tried to fill a pot with pine needles, anything I planted in that pot was stunted for years. It would not grow. I wouldn't get a single tomato. I wouldn't get a single anything. No flowers, nothing. And I suspect that the reason for that has to do with the tannins and other things that are in the pine needles. They can be growth inhibitors. That's one reason why pine trees have such low competition around their bases, because when the pine needles drop, they actually can inhibit growth of other things. And so I suspect, and again, I don't have any evidence for this, I've never researched it, but I suspect that by adding pine needles into pots, you're introducing that growth inhibitor. And so whatever you plant in the pot will not do well. Instead, today I'm going to use logs, I'm going to use a little bit of compost, and then I'm going to put my planting mix on the top, and then I'm going to plant inside of that. So I ended up not having enough soil, even with the logs filling most of the pots. So I had to go back to my compost bins, get some compost, and redo the first one because I used the entire wheelbarrow in this pot, even with the logs. So I put compost at the bottom, and my reasoning for that is it should speed up the decomposition of the logs because it's got active all the bugs and all the microbes and all the things that work compost. And then I put the logs in, and then I filled in with more compost, and then I put my soil on, okay? And then I redid the first one the same way. So I'm still a little low, like a couple inches low on soil in this one. And I don't think I have enough in the pot with the plant to completely fill it, but it'll get close. And I'll probably just add a little more, maybe from my garden or something. Just something to help fill it in the rest of the way. So yeah, now I just gotta water and plant. Oh, wow! Check this out. I don't want to peel it apart because I don't want to kill it. But this looks like some kind of leafcutter bee larva or something. It's a little round pouch that's been sealed up at the end. Oh, how cool. I'm gonna keep that. So thanks so much for watching this video, everybody. I hope it was valuable to you. If you liked it, please make sure to tell me by hitting the like button. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe so you get more cool gardening content in your video feed every week. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you in the garden.